just wanted to clarify that it's really important because these terms have meaning, and we have no war with Gaza. But definitely, we are right now in an armed conflict, an ongoing dispute with the terrorist organization Hamas.
Well, thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that clarification. Now, serious, violent escalations, these are not uncommon, especially since Hamas has had greater influence on the Gaza Strip since 2007. How is this conflict different to those that Israel would have experienced previously?
Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. In 2006, Israel left the Gaza Strip unilaterally. We uprooted families and homes. We uprooted graves, and Gaza was entirely under Palestinian sovereignty. Where we were hoping, and we were applauded by the international community at the time, we were hoping that the Palestinians would take advantage of that situation to build and to construct. Unfortunately, what happened was that Hamas took over in a very bloody coup, killing other Palestinians, throwing them off rooftops, dragging their bodies in the streets, and have been reigning, have had a reign of terror in Gaza since then. We've had our cycles of conflicts with Hamas since then. Mostly it starts when Hamas fires rockets into Israel, and then we retaliate in order to prevent the rockets from being fired and so forth. However, what happened this time is unprecedented. It's one of the largest terrorist attacks in history. With our 9/11, and if you compare it in proportions, it's much bigger than 9/11. Not is it only proportionally larger. I mean, it's because we are a much smaller country than the United States. The brutality and inhumanity is just unbelievable. We are talking of, hundreds of terrorists who infiltrated civilian populations, homes, families' homes, and different concentrations where civilians were living and stationed. And we are talking about raping women next to the dead bodies of their friends and then murdering them or parading them naked in Gaza, kidnapping children, grandparents, mothers, Holocaust survivors, people who are over 85 years old, kidnapping them, taking them into Gaza and hiding them in bunkers and in areas, of course, without any access to any international organization, lawyer or anything, committing atrocities that are unbelievable, murdering children, babies, just committing war crimes. It is something that the world has not seen, or in maybe very small instances, and it is a game changer.
Mm-hmm. In that sense as well, Israeli intelligence capabilities are considered to be some of the best in the world. Yet this seems to have been a coordinated attack with time to plan. How does this surprise escalation reflect on Israeli intelligence capabilities?
You're right. The Israeli intelligence capabilities are very, very good. But unfortunately, and as we've learned now, no one is perfect. They've been planning this for a long time, probably for a very long time, made sure that it's kept in very close circles. I don't think they didn't even mention it to their own terrorists before the attack occurred, and they only very shortly before it explained exactly what is going to happen. This has been an intelligence failure. We have to admit it. It has been, but I can tell you this was a very big mistake by Hamas, and no one can really understand the rationale behind it because they did it. They hurt us. They committed atrocities that are unbelievable, but they knew that they are going to pay a very harsh price. They knew that Israel would do anything it can to defend its people and its citizens, and it will cost a very severe price for Hamas, and unfortunately will just bring more casualties on both sides. So I cannot explain the rationale behind this. I think many times when it comes to extreme ideology, no one can really explain the rationale, but we did have a failure of intelligence. It is something that we will look into, we will learn, and we will make sure that it doesn't happen again in the future.
Is it also possible that domestic political divisions could have also accounted for the timing of the attack, and therefore also, in the context of the conversations, have such divisions been set aside for a more united approach from Israel in dealing with this conflict?
It's difficult for me to say. It might have played a role, but let's be frank. In the past, it didn't prevent, even before this internal, dispute in Israel. Even before that, Hamas attacked Israel in the past in different ways. They did. This might have been planned even before what we've been seeing in Israel. It might have been going much longer. And these demonstrations and so forth might have played a role. I don't know for certain. I'm sorry, what was the rest of the question? I'm sorry?
If such political divisions, domestic political divisions, have now been set aside for a more united approach.
Oh, well, first, absolutely. Israelis are absolutely united in confronting this terrible, evil organization. Actually, we've had volunteers coming from all over the world, Israelis who say they want to come and assist. The military is getting much more reservist than it was planning to get, because people are horrified, are shocked, are overwhelmed, are devastated. And we are one united country, whether you're left-wing, right-wing, secular, religious. We are absolutely united country now in face of this evil.
Mm-hmm. Geographically, the attacks came from the south of Israel, although there have also been hints of escalations from the north. In that sense, you've mentioned that Israel is prepared to defend itself at all cost. Is Israel also prepared for more escalations geographically from various regions within the nation itself?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, you're right. Unfortunately, we have some of the worst neighbors in our region that in any other place around the world. Hezbollah, an Iranian proxy, a terrorist organization of themselves, a very cruel organization, might want to take part in what's happening. We are 150% prepared for any attempt by Hezbollah. I think Hezbollah knows this, and I would warn Hezbollah not to try anything, because we are very, very prepared to retaliate in any case of an attack from their part.
Well, the leaders of the United Kingdom, the United States, France, Germany and Italy have all released a statement expressing steadfast and united support for the state of Israel and the unequivocal condemnation of Hamas. How crucial is this international support in Israel's defense and operations?
Well, first of all, the support that we are getting from the whole international community is just amazing. It's very consoling. It's very helpful. And it is very important. It's very important that the world comes and says this is not an Israeli or Arab or Palestinian issue. This is a human issue. It's human beings who were faced with the worst evil that can be imagined, and that have been, going through the worst atrocities that one can imagine. This has nothing to do with politics. It's a basic human issue. And it is very important. I will say, Israel's first responsibility is to the well-being, security, and safety of its own citizens. So even if we would not have received the support, we would do anything that we need to do in order to ensure the safety of our people. But the support is important. It is very well received. We are very grateful to it, and it comes from all corners of the earth. We are very appreciative of the strong, steadfast support from the international community.
Within the last few years, Israel has seen a normalization of relations with Arab League nations, Morocco and Bahrain, just as an example of a few. Also, is this conflict a reflection of the new reality of diplomacy that Israel is currently undertaking and undergoing?
It's not for me to dissect exactly what Hamas's intentions and motivations are and what the reasons are. They're a fanatic organization that officially declares that it is thriving for the destruction of the state of Israel, not even for any kind of dialogue. They just want the extermination of the state of Israel. So I don't know, but I'm sure that they are frustrated to see how well Israel is doing in the region, how we are strengthening ties with Arab countries, whether in the Middle East, in Northern Africa, how we are, making peace agreements with other countries. And this might have played a part in it. It might have. We will continue to strive for peace and tranquility and normalcy with any Arab country, as long as, they recognize Israel's right to exist and Israel's right for security.
Also, sir, if we were to take a look at the wider world, what are the broader and long-term implications? What does this mean for the rest of the world?
I think the world now has understood what we're facing. They understand what Hamas is, and they understand, Hamas is, if we spoke about ISIS, so now Hamas is ISIS. They have no limits, none. They are willing to do anything. They have no regard for life. They're just representing a very extreme and fanatic ideology. They are not representing the vast majority of Muslims or Arabs around the world, for sure. And I think the world understands that. And right now, Israel cannot allow itself to enable Hamas to keep or to maintain its capabilities. So this is a game changer. It has affected the Israeli society in a very large way, in a very meaningful way. However, it also has sentenced Hamas to a terrible future. I mean, we will not be able to allow Hamas to continue threatening Israelis. That is over. We will do whatever is necessary to make sure that our citizens, our population, our children, our women, our elderly are safe.
Now, according to initial estimates, it suggests that over 150 civilian hostages were taken captive by Hamas. Hamas has threatened the execution of these hostages should Israel not... Sorry, I'm going to repeat that question. According to initial assessments, Hamas has taken at least 150 civilian hostages captive. They've also threatened to execute these hostages unless Israel stops the bombardment of civilian homes in the Gaza Strip without warning. Noting that you've just mentioned the protection of Israeli citizens, and you've also really focused a lot on women and children, is the safe return, the rescue of these hostages, currently a primary focus?
Well, first of all, I want to just mention, Israel is not attacking civilian homes. We're attacking Hamas operatives. Unfortunately, what they do is they hide behind civilians. They use them as human shields because they have no regard for anyone else except for themselves. And as collateral damage, when we try to prevent, firing rockets, or to try to get a Hamas leader, sometimes there are civilian casualties. We try any effort we can to prevent casualties by civilians, but Hamas hiding in mosques, in homes, in different areas is a big problem, and it does bring casualties also on the civilian side. The hostages is an enormous issue. It's a huge problem. And you mentioned yourself, they're threatening to assassinate them. They're threatening to execute them. I mean, who are we dealing with? Of course, it's a very important objective. I'm not, the government will have to decide how exactly it's going to be dealing with this very sensitive and complicated issue. But this is not going to prevent us from, making sure that Hamas is not a threat anymore in the future. And I really want to ask you, I mean, do you think it's anywhere in the world, is it rational that they have hostages who are 2 and 4 years old, or 85-year-old grandmothers? Is that logical in any way? They have to release them immediately, without any condition. But we know who we're dealing with. We know that we're facing a huge problem. And the government is looking into it and will make its decisions on regard to this very delicate and sensitive issue.
Well, the Gaza Strip is one of the most densely populated areas in the world, with an estimated 2 million residents. The blockade announced on Monday actually will cut the supply of essentials such as medicine, food, water, and electricity. Is this the best move in the interest of all parties involved, especially noting that Israel is not attacking civilians? However, this cut in supply will obviously affect civilians. Is this, of course, the best move?
Well, first of all, I need to fuel can be stopped from entering. We are not stopping entry of food and medicines, but I want to emphasize one issue, one very important issue. The border that Gaza has is not only with Israel. They have a border with Egypt, the Rafah border, and we are in no way in control of that. So if they need to get supplies, they can get it. We have closed our border. Just in the last few weeks, following this terrible attack, we've enabled tens of thousands of Gazans to enter Israel, to work in Israel, to provide for the families. We have no issue or conflict with the Gazan people. But unfortunately, right now, this is the most dangerous area for us. We had to close the border. We are definitely allowing supply of basic essentials, medicine and food. But as I mentioned, there's another border with another country, so we are not the only port of entry into Gaza.
Your Excellency, Professor Victor Friedman of the Jezreel Valley College is quoted as suggesting this horrid situation is still an opportunity. Is there still a potential for review of the ongoing conflict in its entirety from all sides involved?
You know, it's very early to say if it's an opportunity or not. Right now, we are really overwhelmed and devastated from what has happened. I think there is now it's an opportunity in the way in the sense that the international community understands that Hamas can no longer have power or be in power. Something has to change. There's a clear understanding in the international community, and so right now that's the opportunity that I see of making sure that this terrorist organization is not a threat in the future. I pray, like everyone else and like all Israelis, that we, have peace and have a tranquility and we find a resolution to this conflict. But right now, our focus is making sure that Hamas is not a threat anymore. And I have to tell you, Kitan, everyone has to know this is going to take a long time. We're now entering a ongoing armed conflict, and it's going to take a long time. And I hope it finishes as soon as possible with as little casualties as possible. But just imagine Trinidad and Tobago, God forbid, were attacked by a terrorist organization, had 1,000 of its population, of its people killed, raped, murdered, kidnapped, 2,600 injured. A lot of them are in serious condition. Just unbelievable. I don't think Trinidad and Tobago would say the next day, okay, let's have a dialogue with this terrorist organization. We cannot allow them. We just cannot allow them to continue threatening a civilian population, and that might be an opportunity.
Now, there have been calls from various quarters within the international community, inclusive of CARICOM. CARICOM has released a statement calling for the immediate ceasefire and the end of all hostilities from all parties involved. As you just mentioned, we're hoping that this ends in the soonest possible time with the least casualties, of course. Is there still a possibility for a peaceful ending? Could there be a peaceful end, a peaceful transition from this conflict?
Well, I'm very disappointed with CARICOM's statement. I think that, that this is an automatic response of the both sides. You cannot refer to this to the both sides. This was an unprovoked attack against a peaceful, peaceful communities. And by the way, was within even if we talk about the 67 borderline, which the whole international community says, is part of Israel, no matter what happens. They were attacked within that area. And these are, most of the folks that were attacked are members of kibbutzim who are pro-peace. And this is something that, we cannot accept, and we cannot. This comparison of both sides. I mean, would CARICOM allow any Caribbean nation to be threatened by such an entity that could, in any minute, could come and slaughter hundreds of thousands of its population? How can you speak about both sides? How can you do it? We are a democratic state. Our government is an elected democracy. We're a liberal state. We yearn for peace. We've given up in our history. We've given up vast pieces of land for peace. We gave Egypt back. We gave Sinai, which is 3 times the size of the state of Israel. I mean, this comparison or this two-side issue has to end. It has to end. There's no comparison between a democratic, peace-loving, sovereign state and a terroristic, bloodthirsty organization, whether it is ISIS or whether it is Hamas. That comparison is just ludicrous, and that statement was very disappointing, in fact.
It has to end, Your Excellency. How does it end?
Well, right now, it will need part of it bring it to an end will have to be through a military conflict, because there's no one to speak to. Hamas in its manifest calls for the destruction of the State of Israel. Hamas has proven that it has no limits whatsoever, no disregard to human life. So right now, part of the solution is a military solution, undoubtedly. What happens in the near future afterwards, I hope we can resolve this in a peaceful manner, but only after we make sure that Hamas is no longer a threat. By the way, we would like the Palestinians to govern themselves. We would like them to concentrate on building their own institutions, in strengthening their internal issues, and not focusing on eradicating the State of Israel because they are unhappy that there is a non-Muslim entity in that area. This has to end.
Your Excellency, I want to thank you very much for joining me and for your time in disseminating the information as well as Israel's position currently regarding the situation. We are sending all our thoughts and prayers to all civilians involved, and of course to all military officials involved in the operations as well. I thank you very much, sir, for your time, and I wish you all the very best, to you and to the people of Israel.
Thank you very much, Ketan. I appreciate it. And I just want to say, this is not, don't look at this as an Israeli-Palestinian conflict. First of all, it's not against the Palestinians. We are now at war when conflict was Hamas. But this is first most a human issue. And all human beings should stand by the innocent civilians that are being attacked by terrorists. But again, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And it was a pleasure being with you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sue. Take care.
Take care.
Are you ready?
We're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready.
Fridays just got more important. On Friday, October 13th, Trinidad and Tobago's national football team battles Guatemala in a crucial Nations League encounter from 9 p.m. at the Hazley Crawford Stadium. A victory for the Soca Warriors will guarantee us a place in the quarterfinals with a host of possibilities, including the prestigious Copa Football and a World Cup seeding. Calling one and all to the National Stadium on Friday, October 13th. Let us fill it with noise and let the support reverberate. Tickets cost $100 covered, $50 uncovered. Tickets are on sale now at eboxtickets.com and at the venue from 12 p.m. on match day. Show your true colors. Be a fan. Be the ultimate Soca Warrior.
We're ready for the road.
Bill and Ruth fell in love with the Benjamin Moore color Dry Sage, but they tried to match it using another brand's paint.
I mean, it's close enough.
Almost
Identical, really. Yeah, there it is.
Never trust another paint to be a Benjamin Moore color.
Alan's Funeral Home, Tunapuna. Relax. We know the loss of a loved one can be challenging, but we've got your back for all your funeral needs, from documents to the service and or burial. Let Alan's Funeral Home take care of you and your loved ones. We are located on the Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. Call us today at 663-1829 or visit allansfuneralhome.com. Alan's Funeral Home. Let us take care of business.
Let the home store turn your house into a home you love. Get everything you need to give your home that special look and feel. We offer household items, lawn and garden, paint center, hardware, plumbing, lighting and electrical, toys and storage solutions. 5 convenient locations: 6th Avenue Barataria, The Falls at Westmore, Pennywise Plaza Shoguanas, C3 Center Branch and C3 San Fernando. Check out our Facebook page for more information and come visit us today. The Home Store. Turn your house into a home you love.
From Maracas Bay to Arapita Avenue and Piaco, Richard's Bake and Shag brings the world's most popular fish sandwich closer to you. Open daily at all our locations.
You gave us the inspiration to be first. We gave you the solutions that put you first. You walked with us side by side, and we continued to serve you with pride. First Citizen celebrates with you 30 years of achieving dreams, shaping success stories, and painting brighter futures together. And together, we'll accomplish so much more. First Citizens, together, 30 and beyond.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for making the time to be with us this morning. Now, following that interview, we are heading to another conversation. October the 11th, which is today, is the International Day of the Girl. But October, the month of October itself, is the celebration of Guide Month. And this morning, we're focusing on the Girl Guides of Trinidad and Tobago, the association, as we are joined this morning by Ms. Claudette Governor. She's the Deputy Chief Commissioner of the Girl Guides Association of Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Ms. Maria Alette Ramkissoon. She's Assistant Brownie Commissioner for Girl Guides Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thank you for having us.
That was wonderful. Thank you guys very much for joining us this morning. I'll start with you, Deputy Chief Commissioner, in relation to Girl Guide and Guide Month. Specifically, why is it important that we recognize and celebrate this month? Precisely, what is its purpose?
The purpose is really to celebrate guiding throughout the world and in Trinidad and Tobago as we celebrate our 109th anniversary of guiding in Trinidad and Tobago. And Girl Guide Month, we actually started celebrating that in 1977. So this month is dedicated to Girl Guides, and we have a number of activities planned for the girls throughout Trinidad and Tobago. And this month our theme is focused as we look at the Sustainable Development Goals throughout the world. We look at, yes?
No, go on.
Oh, okay, we look at prepare to change the world, and our main theme is dream, act, and lead. The future is ours. So in this time, we are focusing on that theme as we prepare the girls to dream. We encourage them to dream, and we prepare them to lead, to take over whatever part of the world they wish to. And while we commemorated the month, we began with our church service in San Fernando on the 7th, where our patron, the president, Ms. Christine Kangaloo, was honored as our patron. We welcomed her because having taken office recently, she's our new patron for the Girl Guides, and we had a service in her commemoration as we began the month as well. So we have been off to a wonderful start where we gave God all the thanks in keeping with our theme, our service, our duty to God, and then we'll do country and others as we focus on activities during the rest of the month.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic, and I was aware actually of the message as well relayed by Her Excellency at the Thanksgiving ceremony in San Fernando over the weekend. But Ms. Alan Ramkissoon, prepared to change the world. That's quite a theme that very much ties into the times that we're living in globally, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, and globally, of course. This empowering theme, of course, deliberate in the sense of all that is taking place, or is it also to show that there is still a loss of confidence, and that confidence could be harnessed into making a positive difference?
Yes, well, actually, today we celebrate the International Day of the Girl, and we are in keeping with that same theme, prepared to change the world. So with this theme, we are aiming to develop the resilience within young women and girls. So with that resilience that we develop, they're able to be more confident, they're able to empower others, empower themselves to deal with the different challenges and pressures that they're faced within this ever-changing world. So this International Day of the Girl that we celebrate today, it enhances the resilience within the girls. They develop their self-confidence. It helps them to recognize the potential that's hidden within themselves to be the change makers that is necessary in the type of world that we live in right now.
Mm-hmm. But how is the Girl Guides Association actually preparing the young women in our society to change the world? How are we preparing them to be the leaders of tomorrow?
Well, actually, our association, the Girl Guides of Trinidad and Tobago, we are part of the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, and we are the largest volunteer organization that is directed to the empowerment of young women and girls. So through the different enriching experiences and life-transforming experiences that we provide them, it enables them to enhance their potential and also to help them to become more responsible citizens, not only to their country, but to the wider world. Now, we do this by providing them with a non-formal type of education, which focuses on holistic development. So these girls are able now to develop their different life skills, and it enhances their leadership skills as well. So in their guiding experience now, they're able to, for example, critically think and problem solve. They're able to make well-informed decisions. They're able to interact with others, and that is something that we have to try to push amongst our young people now, because we realize that they're now just behind a screen of some sort. So the Girl Guides movement helps them to interact with each other and share different ideas amongst each other. It helps them to enhance different interpersonal skills, such as empathy. And in general, it helps them to fashion their lives in such a way that it enables them to deal with the type of world that we live in right now. So in guiding, we provide them with an experience where they're able to explore themselves, explore the world around them, discover new concepts, new themes, discover things that affect them. And in the Girl Guides movement, they're given an opportunity to speak out. So this is where girls are given a voice. They can voice their opinions, let persons know what affects them, how they're willing to make a change with the things that affect them, how they're willing to challenge the status quo, and we give them that guidance that is necessary to become the leaders that we want them to be.
I think one thing that just stood out to me in what you were responding is the ability to actually interact, the art of interaction, the art of conversation and empathy. That really actually goes quite a long way now. It's unfortunately, in my opinion, becoming a lost art form, but the mere fact that this is all part of the Girl Guides Association plans and holistic education towards development, that could only be applauded. Back to you, Ms. Governor, though. Something that Ms. Ramkissoon just mentioned in regards to not just global citizens, but national citizens. That ties in also to the future is ours, that second theme. What is actually the challenges associated with building the resilience within the Girls Association for such members actually leading the way?
Challenges we would experience would be with the changing times and the way things are happening, you know, there is a rise in crime and all this. So we have a problem with parents allowing the girls out at certain time. We have that giving us, you know, not allowing us the free way to deal with some children as we would like to. Also with normally Standard 5 and the SCA, this also poses a problem for a number of them, where most of them have to attend classes and all of that. But nonetheless, we try to do what we can at school, especially I think it's always a benefit when the guider is attached to a school. So now we can have the children we can have co-curricular most time instead of extracurricular. And most time if we can have that, the guider as well, who is attached to the school, to come in during school time. So that also helps. But we try to get around the challenges because, as Miss was saying, as we work with them to build this resilience, what I must mention is that they work for badges, which is an incentive, which encourages them. So they have that to look forward to have these badges pinned along their sashes. So I must say that we try to overcome the negative as much as we can.
In overcoming the negative, that certainly is not necessarily easy, but again, focusing on the importance of the Girls Guides Association and the work that is actually doing, and the conversation thus far has been quite eye-opening, because I think people tend to have a misunderstanding or misrepresentation of what Girls Guides is. And I really thank you guys for joining me this morning. But more so in terms of even in regards to discipline, tolerance, and production. And I realize in reading the release, that's an important part of holistic education as well.
Yes, it is. And as I said, the movement, as we try to help them to become more responsible citizens. So those watchwords, the discipline, the tolerance, the production, it comes into everything that we try to promote within the movement. So yes, it helps them to become more aware and proud of who they are as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, in regards to the actual, when we speak about these approaches, critical thinking and creativity is quite important, quite crucial. Is that also part of opening one's minds as part of the association's approach to helping foster our future leaders, our future female leaders?
Yes, it is, because way back as the Brownies, we encourage them to be leaders of a group. So the Brownies have a pack of 6, where they are leaders. We have a leader in each pack. Even with the guides, they have the company of 8 and the Rangers. So we encourage them to be leaders. So they are in charge of what activities they will have to be for the time that we have the program. And these same children, you will see them taking the lead in certain activities in schools. So they would most likely be the prefects or the head girls. All right? So we encourage them to lead, we encourage them to plan at their activities. Even when we go to camps, we allow them to do what they have to do. We would set the timetable, they are part of the planning, and we allow them to do what they have to do. We supervise. We don't necessarily stand there and try to be the end all of the education for the girls, but we encourage them to lead and to take active role in what they are doing.
Mr. Ramkisoon, that encouragement of leading and taking an active role, is that also something that, in regards to helping develop maturity, is quite necessary as part of all that is being discussed this morning?
Yes, definitely, because you see, in education generally, we are used to a system where we are faced with the sage on the stage. So you have the teacher in front, which she presents what basically the curriculum is and not necessarily what the children's interests are. With our movement, we try to ensure that it is patterned around the interests of the girls. As I said, they have a voice. So we use their interests and their concerns to plan our program. And so they have an input. So we give them the guidance necessary while they carry their program along, and it will be based on their interests. So it keeps, because they're interested in what we present to them, their leadership, they are more willing to lead and take part in what is given to them.
Well, back to you, Mr. Governor. What are the traditional values of the Girls Guides Association of Trinidad and Tobago?
traditional values, that would be, just now. We say traditional, we still have them going anyway. So it's most in keeping with the watchwords, like you said, it's a discipline, and where we try to encourage them to, like Mr. said, to speak out. We want them to always know that they have a voice, so they're able to speak out, and the way they conduct themselves. So you will always be able to tell a guide by the way they conduct themselves and take charge of any situation within a school or where they are employed.
Mm-hmm. But it also, such traditional values, if we're speaking about leading tomorrow, you know, and going back to the theme this month about prepared to change the world, are such traditions sometimes also having to evolve? Or is it that we ground ourselves based off of those traditional values?
Oh, no, we have been evolving since, because we know that the changing world, remember, it used to be a man's world, I should say. So we are now encouraging the girls to take that leadership, the leadership role in most activities. So they are evolving and they are trying to, what should I say? You can help me here, Ms. Ramkissoon. Adapt to whatever changes are happening within the society.
Yes, that's it.
Well, Ms. Ramkissoon, how do we encourage more girls to get involved and even be a part of the association? How do we reach out to them and show them that this is going to help you not only in regards to self-development and in life on a whole, but also to being a good-minded citizen, a citizen for Trinidad and for the rest of the world?
Well, actually, we have an event coming up which is going to raise public awareness and encourage others to join the Girl Guides movement. So on the 28th of October, we have our 1K, 5K fun run and walk. And our theme for that is promoting health and well-being, moving towards 110 years and beyond. Now, in this event, we're able to engage the girls and the public as well to adopt the third of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations, which is to promote health and well-being of persons of all ages. So through activities such as these, girls are able to interact with others and the public is able to see that we are alive and well and still thriving Trinidad and Tobago. So if you'd allow me, I'd just like to elaborate a bit more on the 5K.
Please do.
All right. Okay, so our 5K begins at 4 p.m. That's the 1K, I should say, begins at 4 p.m. And the 5K is at 4:20 p.m. on Saturday, the 28th of October. And our race village is opposite QRC. That is Queen's Park, opposite QRC, Queen's Park West. And registration is $50 per participant. All right, so everybody is invited, all guiders, supporters, well-wishers, and the public, you're invited to come and see what we're about. Now, there are different ways in which you can register. You can register online, or you can register in person. Just know that the online registration, there's a processing fee. However, if you can pay your $50 online, or you can make a direct deposit into our association's account, right? So through different programs like these, the girls are allowed to interact with each other, interact with different different concepts that are relative to the present day issues, contemporary issues.
Mm-hmm. Now, focusing on today being International Day of the Girl, Ms. Governor, how would you suppose is the most appropriate or effective way to actually celebrate and recognize this day? It goes beyond just today, but seeing that we have a designated day for the International Day of the Girl, what's the most appropriate way to celebrate in recognition of such?
Normally, what we would do, well, I'm from Tobago, so what had happened over the past is that we would organize a march through a certain village, so you raise awareness that Girl Guides is still alive and active. So we would organize a march to the village and we would end it somewhere on the ground where we would have activities for the girls. So people would be looking on, and normally that's the way we get other schools to join on. When they see us marching through a village or through the town or anywhere like that, But this year, I know there's a celebration happening with the St. Joseph Convent, San Fernando. They have an activity where they will be engaged in games for the students, and they will also be joined by the World Association of Girls and of Guides and Girl Scouts, who was a previous commissioner, chief commissioner, Ms. Jacqueline Dolly. So they would be there during an activity for the girls in San Fernando. But normally we do have activities where we are visible, where people can see us, and girls will want to join in and be a part of our movement.
Well, ladies, I want to thank you so much for joining me this morning, and I appreciate the opportunity of us being able to have this conversation. But before we bid farewell, Ms. Governor, to you first, and then to Ms. Ramki soon, your closing message to all young ladies, to all girls, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but all over the world who are watching this morning, what would that message be?
To the girls, I want to tell you that you have a right. You have a right to education. You have a right to freedom and to express yourself in whichever way you may want. You can achieve your full potential. Anything you imagine, anything you dream, that is what you can be. And I want them to know that Girl Guide welcomes all young ladies. We even welcome you after you have turned 21 as young leaders to be part of the movement, because you have a voice and we would like to hear it. We would want your voice to be heard throughout the world.
Ms. Ramkisoon, your message?
Yes, I would like girls everywhere to know that you don't be afraid to be brave. Be brave, speak out, and know that you do have a voice and you are more than able to be a change maker in your world and in your society. So be brave.
Be brave indeed. Well, ladies, thank you very much for joining me this morning. It really has been a pleasure indeed. And I'm so glad that we're able to have this conversation. And looking forward to, I have to decide if I want to do the walk or the run. We'll aim for the walk on October 20th. But thank you guys.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you there.
Certainly. Thank you guys very much. And all the best to you. And to the association, all the work that they're doing, the incredible work that you all have done and are continuing to do. Thank you so much. Congratulations and all the best.
You're most welcome.
Keep well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick break here on AM Prime, and when we return, guess what? It's Wild Wednesday. We'll be right back after this.
Are you ready?
We're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready.
Fridays just got more important. On Friday, October 13th, Trinidad and Tobago's national football team battles Guatemala in a crucial Nations League encounter from 9 p.m. at the Hazley Crawford Stadium. A victory for the Soca Warriors will guarantee us a place in the quarterfinals with a host of possibilities, including the prestigious Copa Football and a World Cup seeding. Calling one and all to the National Stadium on Friday, October 13th. Let us fill it with noise and let the support reverberate. Tickets cost $100 covered, $50 uncovered. Tickets are on sale now at eboxtickets.com and at the venue from 12 p.m. on match day. Show your true colors. Be a fan. Be the ultimate Soca Warrior.
We're ready for the road.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
If these walls could talk, they'd cry uncle. They didn't plan to become offices or yoga studios. But they've stood by us, even when we got a little stir-crazy. For that, they deserve some thanks. They deserve Benjamin Moore.
From Maracas Bay to Arafita Avenue and Piaco, Richard's Bake and Shark brings the world's most popular fish sandwich closer to you. Open daily at all our locations.
My name is Carl Media. I am the founder and the host of Ever Increasing Voice Ministries. Join me every Saturday and Sunday on WESN, this powerful station, at 9 a.m. on Saturdays, 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. nightly. Also on Sundays, I'll be on at 7 a.m., 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. at night time. When you come here, we are getting people heavenly ready.
Let the home store turn your house into a home you love. Get everything you need to give your home that special look and feel. We offer household items, lawn and garden, paint center, hardware, plumbing, lighting and electrical, toys and storage solutions. 5 convenient locations: 6th Avenue Barataria, The Falls at Westmore, Pennywise Plaza Shoguanas, C3 Center Branch and C3 San Fernando. Check out our Facebook page for more information and come visit us today. The Home Store. Turn your house into a home you love.
You gave us the inspiration to be first. We gave you the solutions that put you first. You walked with us side by side, and we continue to serve you with pride. First Citizens celebrates with you 30 years of achieving dreams, shaping success stories, and painting brighter futures together. And together, we'll accomplish so much more. First Citizens, together, 30 and beyond.
Here is your WESN News on the Hour. I am Sarah Ali. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Trinidad and Tobago student safely evacuated from Israel amid escalating conflict. Altercation between teenager and a 56-year-old man leads to hospitalization. Quick response prevented injuries at UWI St. Augustine campus following a fire. And internationally, UN Secretary General said he was deeply distressed by the current attacks in Israel. Now for the details. As the conflict in Israel continues to escalate, Trinidad and Tobago's Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Dr. Amory Brown, has confirmed the successful evacuation of a Trinidad and Tobago national who was studying in the region. Dr. Brown chose not to disclose the student's identity, respecting the wishes of her parents. However, he did mention that she was a teenager pursuing her studies in Israel. By 4 p.m. on the previous day, the teenager had been successfully evacuated from Tel Aviv and was en route to London. In a report, Dr. Amory assured that Trinidad and Tobago's diplomatic staff would be present to meet the student upon her arrival in London and ensure her safe journey back to her mother's embrace in Trinidad and Tobago. A dispute between a 17-year-old boy and a 56-year-old man escalated to the point where both individuals had to be hospitalized as a result of injuries sustained during the altercation. According to investigators, the incident unfolded when the 56-year-old man paid a visit to his girlfriend's residence on Irving Street in Petitburg at approximately 5 p.m. It was during the visit that a heated argument erupted between the man and the 17-year-old resident of the same house. As tensions escalated during the exchange, the older man produced a knife and inflicted a single stab wound to the left side of the teenager's face. Subsequently, the man fled the scene, making his way through a nearby pathway leading to the Eastern Main Road. However, he was pursued by a 24-year-old acquaintance of the teenager. Armed with a cutlass, the friend confronted the older man and inflicted injuries to his head and hand. Both the 17-year-old and the 56-year-old man were transported to the hospital for medical attention following this altercation. At approximately 11:24 a.m. on Tuesday, October 10, 2023, campus authorities were alerted to a fire incident involving 4 vehicles at the JFK staff car park, situated on the southern side of the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus. We can confirm that no individuals have sustained injuries as a consequence of this incident. In an immediate and coordinated response, the UES State Police, the campus incident management team, and the emergency volunteer team rapidly sprang into action, calling on the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service, who quickly arrived to contain the fire. University personnel will continue to support the authorities, and a full investigation into the cause of the fire is underway. Vehicle owners impacted by this incident have been contacted directly by our emergency response team to address any concerns and provide support. Internationally, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said on Monday he was deeply distressed by an announcement that Israel will initiate a complete siege of the Gaza Strip following an attack by the Palestinian Islamist group Hamas over the weekend.
To discuss the unprecedented developments in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territory. Let me begin by repeating my utter condemnation of the abhorrent attacks by Hamas and others against Israeli towns and villages in the Gaza periphery, which have left over 800 Israelis dead and more than 2,500 injured. I recognize the legitimate grievances of the Palestinian people, but nothing can justify these acts of terror and the killing, maiming, and abduction of civilians. I reiterate my call to immediately cease these attacks and release all hostages.
Well, that's news to the hour on WESN. I am Sira Ali. Thanks for watching.
Since they were on sale, Laura bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? You'd better come and satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Wow Bucket, 7 pieces of chicken and 4 regular sides for $115. A finger-licking good deal.
Welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Guess what? It's Wild Wednesday. I'm joined by Ricardo Mead. Oh, and we have 2 special guests, 2 very special guests this morning. First of all, hello, Mr. Mead.
Good morning. Thank you for having me yet again. It's Wednesday.
It is
Wild Wednesday. Good morning to all our followers, listeners out there. And we have yet another day here in studio.
Yes.
And we have a couple monsters with us.
I tell you what, you do that introduction. I'm not getting involved in that at all.
Right. Well, I can say that if no one else can say, I have a couple monsters with us. All right. In the ECWC garb, all the way on the end, we have the lovely, the talented, wonderfulest, monstrous you can ever imagine. Her name is Celicia Asgarali Mead. So that means, yes, she does bear some relation. She's actually, in fact, my wife. That's why I can call her a monster. I know her personally. And she will smile. When I go home, I'll get dealt with, but I'll take it here. I'll take it here on live TV. And in between us, there is another monster whose name is actually Monster. And you will find out today, during today's presentation, why he's called Monster. And they're actually little monsters. It's a raptor. It's a bird of prey. It's an owl. His name is Monster.
It's an owl. Well, first of all, it's so good to see you, Celicia. Thanks for coming this morning. How do you put it with all the wild creatures? Well, I mean, I know you have all the animals to deal with at home, but you also have this wild creature. Oh, that's...
She's practicing, she plans to be a doctor. So.
Well, welcome to the program to you and to our friend the monster, an owl. An owl, it's incredible. It's very small and tiny. He's like a little speck on the screen.
Yeah, he's a pygmy owl and native to Trinidad. So he represents the second smallest owl in the world, but the smallest one here in Trinidad.
Oh.
So as we go along, you'll get to meet a couple other owls. So we've already met Guardian, who's quite the opposite spectrum. He's pretty large.
Yeah, he is.
You know, well, she, flying and big wings and so on. This one is on the other end of the spectrum. But ounce for ounce, gram for gram for the young ones. This bird is a beast, hence the name Monster.
So, before we get to the beast part, if we were speaking about the actual size and weight of the owl, this is as big as they get?
Yes.
Yep.
It is?
Yes, 15 centimeters.
So, Celicia, like, even as a chick then, what's the size of a little chick?
Basically, they are really, really small. And they're covered in down when they come in at the center. So they look bigger, actually, when they're younger, because there's a lot of down all over them. But as they grow, the down falls off, and they get their plumage.
So what is this that he's doing? Because he's puffing. He's really puffing like he's...
He's a little chilly, so he's puffing up his feathers. So he's going to keep in the air under the feathers, so that's going to keep him warm.
Oh, okay.
And the tail movement is agitation. So he's looking all over. He's actively looking at all the lights. And
sure, that's what you actually say, because you're giving me that stare, man. So why do you refer to him as monster then? Because you say he's a beast.
Yeah, well, you know the ruddy brown dove, the common brown doves that we see, not the larger white-tailed mountain doves, but the regular brown doves that you see sometimes in flocks. He will quite easily take down, kill, and eat one of those. And they are his size and sometimes a little bigger.
Yeah, sometimes very much bigger.
Right, so that's why you would call this little guy Monster. It's quite an appropriate name.
Crikey. No, in that sense, do you do live feeding, or is it that you...
Well, we tried. We tried with him. We tried, remember we are a wildlife rehabilitation facility, so the animals come in, and the aim is to get them back into the wild. So at some point in time, we will introduce them to live prey, be it insect, reptile, bird, or small mammal. He absolutely failed the small mammal test. We
believe that look on your face.
We believe he has some sort of...
depth perception problems.
Yeah. So his eyes aren't the very best. So he can't hunt. So if you keep missing your food, you will starve and you will die. So he's basically cannot make it out there in the wild as a wild animal.
So unfortunately for him, he would not be able to head back into the wild.
Yeah, he can't be released. We can let him out. He'll fly, go in a tree, and then for the next 4 or 5 days, he will try after everything and probably just missed it, you know. If he goes after a bird and comes up with a bunch of feathers, that's not going to help him. You can't just miss. You have to win. You have to get it, else you will starve. And every time he goes after a meal, he gets weaker, and you know his energy reserves are depleted more and more until the point where he's just too tired, too weak, too sick to hunt.
And that's something actually, Celicia, we were speaking about before we came in this morning, and that is in regard to diet. I mean, we know poor diet generally could affect anything, any creature, any living being, but particularly this owl, the poor diet leads to
metabolic bone disease. So our problem is Trinidadians like to see things that are cute, like this bird. They will say, oh my God, we want one. And then they'll go out, they'll get one, and they'll try to feed it the wrong things. So in most of the cases, they'll feed the bird's liver, and that actually kills the bird.
Liver?
Chicken liver. People believe that they can give the bird chicken liver. Just like they believe that baby birds are supposed to get bread and milk here.
Oh, baby birds are not supposed to get bread and milk?
No.
I've never fed baby birds
We've
bread and milk, but
never
I've seen
seen
people.
while any baby bird going behind a cow's teeth to get milk.
Well, to be honest, we think about chicken breasts, but they're quite different from mammalian breasts. Okay, they do not lactate. Birds do not lactate. Even if you've heard birds giving their babies crop milk, what that will be would that they would go around and eat all sorts of stuff, get it down in their crop, it will get, a bit masticated and mixed up and so on, and all the other nutrients, and then they will regurgitate it into the mouth of their babies. So that's called crop milk. That comes from their stomach, not from their boobs. They do not have boobs. They do not have mammalian glands and mammary glands to lactate. So once you start feeding a bird bread and milk, you're setting the bird up to die.
Crikey, well that's very good to know. But besides the doves, as you mentioned, he looks like he's ready to fly. What other creatures, insects, does he eat as part of his diet?
Well, anything that he can take down. So in the reptilian world, he will eat a lot of lizards, small snakes, even snakes that are sometimes a bit seemingly too large for him, and insects, some crickets, locusts, and their locusts his size and even bigger, he will take them down.
Yeah, I don't want to see
scorpion, centipede, you name it. Yeah. If he can grasp it and rip it apart with that beak there, yeah, see? He will do it. That's what he is. That's why he's a monster. You put your hand in, he's like, I'm not going to eat it.
Yeah, you want to put your pinky there.
Yeah, right. But he's a cool guy and a very important ambassador. And our message to people is not, have one of these. It's leave them alone. Leave them in the wild. Because you cannot. It might seem, okay, I can take care of a small one. No. Where are you going to get the insects from? Where are you going to get the lizards from, the snakes from, the birds from to feed this animal properly when he wants that? He knows when he wants to eat what and the other. Leave this sort of thing to the professionals. If you really, really like this bird and love owls, your best bet is to have them free and wild around your homes. So we can furnish you with plans to build like an owl box, or a situation where you can have them come freely around your house and sing to you and hoot to you and also now kill all the pests around, but you don't have to feed it, clean it. And they make quite a mess also, because of that diet, when they excrete, it's quite odoriferous. It stink. Plain and simple, it stink. It smells bad.
Oh, it's
all right, you'll change your mind real fast.
A lot of experience with that.
It is what we do, night and day we clean a lot of stuff.
Get fertilizer.
You don't want that fertilizer.
But Celicia, was Monster born in captivity, or was he brought to the center?
No, he was actually brought into us from, I think it was their nest, he fell out of a tree. Oh. And he came in with a sibling. One died at the site. He came in with a sibling, but the sibling didn't make it through. He was the only one that did. And we believe that upon falling down, he probably hit his head because of the depth perception problem.
Right.
So something is neurologically wrong with him. Because physically, there is nothing wrong with him.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah, so he can fly. And, and the thing is that a lot of people get them like this. We have a lot of calls, they hit into windows. We're getting very westernized in our architecture, so a lot of very flat surface windowed buildings and structures that reflects the sky. And these guys fly, I'm going up into a window pane, so you come outside and see them on the ground. And then people want to keep them. Very bad idea. Very, very bad idea. First of all, you do not know. Like one lady said, it's fine. I said, yes, but we do not know what is wrong with the animal. The animal could have much more injuries than it's obvious. Because same with this one here, you would say, okay, it's fine, and you let it go, you keep it. But it's obvious there's a neurological deficit, there's a problem somewhere. Or there's something, with the ocular, something is wrong. He cannot, when you put the live mice in, he misses them. He goes after it, but it seems like he cannot pinpoint how to really attack this. And we try it routinely every now and again, and we have just made up our mind now, we're just going to, pre-kill and put it in, because he's not going anywhere. He can't make it out there.
How old is he?
He's about a year now.
Just about a year.
He's about a year now.
And he's fully grown, as you said.
Yes, fully grown.
Fully grown.
That is rather incredible. In the wild, though, I mean, I know the last time we saw Guardian, you said even Guardian could be hunted by, there was a much larger owl.
Yeah, they're larger owls.
Right. So obviously he has predators as well.
Oh yeah, but not just by owls, not other predators, but other birds that are normally prey birds. So I've had several come in with lots of damage from kiskadis.
Well, I know kiskadis are notoriously...
They got those big beaks.
Yeah, I know that.
They're pugnacious. They come at you.
Really, these...
Yeah.
Okay.
So those birds, kiskadis, mockingbirds, the tanagers, and so on, they do a process called mobbing, where they get together to drive the Batman out of the area. Okay, we would do a lot to learn from these animals. Okay, whether he bigger or badder, it doesn't matter. But together, you can make a big difference. And that's what people do. So they mob these other birds that are determined to be bad or dangerous. They just go at them and chase them out. And sometimes if he resists, they will hit him in his head and he can have eye damage and head damage and so on like that. I've seen them beat one to the ground and I had to rescue the bird. So they can get really, really mean.
I know kiskadis are notoriously, they're known for being aggressive.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they would actually come together in mobs too.
Yeah.
Because he would, given an opportunity, raid their nest and eat the babies.
If he could, yeah.
Yeah, when she says a baby in the nest and he's like, hey, there's a baby over there, nobody's around, I'm going to go after it.
Wow.
So they would chase him out of the area. And that's a balance. Nature has her own balance, and you think, oh my God, this is cruel. But it's a balance that's created, and we just come in there and sort of shift things around. I've had a few of them being shot already. They call them zombie birds in Trinidad. Zombie birds. So they're owls, but you would expect most owls to be nocturnal. These guys are actually crepuscular, meaning that at dusk and dawn they're most active, which makes sense because that's when they would have most access to their food sources. You're not going to see too many insects that they would like out in the middle of the day. But early in the morning and in the evening as the sun sets, going into night, that's when they will have most of their food sources. Lizards more, snakes more, even the birds settle down now, so they have a chance of getting them.
Is in that sense as well, because thinking about birds, is there any defense mechanism besides the feathers which could help with camouflage?
Well, they have a very interesting, I don't know if Sal can explain it. Behind their heads, they have a couple of spots that are supposed to mimic eye spots.
Okay.
All right?
Dark,
and,
yeah.
Yeah. The way that helps is many creatures will not attack. It's a little fluffed up there. But it looks like eye spots in the back.
Like
and lots of animals have
he
that.
has 2 eye spots.
Yeah. So if something is coming at him and sees these 2 much bigger eyes, they'll say, wait a minute, if the eyes are that big, then the creature is this big, let me leave that alone. So it protects it. And most predators will not attack an animal front on. They go from the back.
Yeah.
So you see the eyes there and you go on there and then you come around the front and the animal sees you know he takes off.
Yeah, as I would say, never turn your back to predator.
Correct.
Never turn your
So
back.
he has that as his little defense. And well also he's always willing to bite. Give me a bite, give me a bite, give me a bite, bite. You know, and then his talons, for his body size, his talons are huge, really. He's got some big old crusty, troll kind of feet there, and a very hairy too, some little hairy feet. But he uses that quite, when he gets that under your nail, you would call out people's mothers because it hurts.
You've gotten that before?
Oh yeah. I get that regularly because when we go to feed and clean inside the enclosures, and sometimes when we do releases, they don't always fly off, so you have to put your hand inside the carrier or container to get them out, and somehow that talon tends to go right under the skin.
Ow.
It's awful. It's awful.
Yeah, he's so trained to his perch there. Yeah,
there you go.
It's quite something. Those big old feet for his size, they're tremendous. Even his beak for his size. He got a big beak.
He is.
That beak is meant to break necks on birds and crack those lizards and so on like that. So he's quite the killing machine, quite efficient,
It's so hard to believe given his size, it is incredibly hard to believe.
That is what people don't understand. He is a ferocious killer. Don't watch the size.
Yeah.
He might be small, but he's mighty.
Yeah. He's little, but he talawa, according to the Jamaicans.
Little, but we talawa.
Yep.
Yeah,
So it's quite
yeah.
no, you can't fly up to the light. No, that's a no. That's a no. Right? So this is, part of our focus in educating people. Another one of the amazing birds, almost 495 species of birds we have here in Trinidad. We're going to try to highlight as many of them as possible, bring them in, so you're going to learn something. Now you know that you heard in the background, that's this guy calling. And if it's very long and very melodic, it's usually male saying, hey, this is my area. And you say, no, well, I come in your area, or don't come across in my area, and so on. So they're territorial, they're vicious. Mother Nature is harsh, Mother Nature is brutal, but Mother Nature, in all its spectrum, it still comes down as fair and balanced.
And beautiful, actually.
Right.
Well, they say nature is mental, but our nature is metal, however you like to phrase it. But I think it's absolutely beautiful. I like that we're able to do this. But the advice, even Salisha, because we were speaking a lot about these birds actually coming in, people finding these birds and then wanting to take them in as pets and feed them, live and all. When you find a bird, it's generally a bird lying on the ground. It's not necessarily deceased. You're not entirely sure. What should you do? What's the best advice to give somebody? I know people want to pick it up with their hands and put it in a shoebox, and then I've heard that you shouldn't even touch a bird to begin with.
Well, firstly, you assess the situation. You look at the bird maybe for 5 minutes or so. You keep your eye on it. If it's not flying off, you can clearly see that something is wrong with the animal. Then we suggest that, okay, you try to get the animal into a box or a basket, depending on the size of the bird, because you can go from this size to a large hawk. So I always suggest, if you have a towel or a cloth, you put it over the animal, and then you use that cloth to secure it into the box or container. And then you contact us, you send us a picture of the bird, so we have an idea of what we're coming for. You send us your name, your location, and we send, if we aren't able to come ourselves, we would send our closest volunteer who will come, retrieve the animal, it will come to the center. We'll do triage, so we make sure we have a first look of the bird, see if any external injuries, anything that's obvious. Usually it's broken bones, or like you said, it gets attacked by other animals. And then from there, it goes to one of our participating providers, the vets, and they take care of it. Usually we go to Pet Life.
Oh, okay. That's most incredible. See, he's gotten...
Yeah, he's gone for hire, as they say. So he's quite
friendly. You haven't landed on your head and you've got those talons in your head.
Yeah. I've gotten the scalp massage from quite a lot of animals. Fortunately, my head is quite hard, and I can tolerate a bit of punishment up there.
Salicia's like,
it's horrid. From him, it won't be that bad. When the bigger birds try to go high up and they land on your head, they tend to.
Did you have your protein shake this morning, by the way? Your insect protein shake?
Well, he had his before he came down. He loves those superworms. One of his favorites. That's one of his favorites. Like, you see, he started saying stuff to me because he heard superworms. That's what I said. I said superworms. And he's looking around. Now, I don't have any. Come, get on my finger. Get off my shoulder, please. Come on. Up, let's go.
Listen, at least he doesn't go into the air like that. He told me last week, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's... Oh, my gosh. And just the thought of that just gives me a sort of a bit of chills. But really, we try and impart to people that we are here doing wildlife rehabilitation. Communicate with us as soon as you believe you have an emergency. There's a situation, because people do a lot of things, bad things. You plan to do something good, but without the proper knowledge and experience, you will do something bad, and then it could result in the death of the animal, which a lot of times people are not even willing to forgive themselves for. Communicate with us. We have the technology now. You can even call one time there, and we can, okay, let me do a WhatsApp video. Let me see what's going on. People kidnap a lot of birds. Birds fledge. That means after the nestling stage, so you have the egg, it hatches, that's a hatchling, then it's a nestling as it grows, and then when it's fully feathered and pretty much ready to start training, you can't train in the nest. He has to jump out of that nest. That's when it's fledged, that's the first flight. And sometimes on the first flight, or within the first few hours or days of that practice with the adults, People see it on the ground. Oh my gosh, look, there's a baby bird and it's hurt, and they take it away. We've had birds come in and we do the assessment. Okay, where was the bird? Where were the parents? Well, it had a couple of birds around. Guess what you do? Take it back home tonight. Tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, put the shoebox by the window. Open the window. And then you get a call. Oh my God, the mother bird came and then it fed it and then it flew away. That's what you call a storybook ending.
Just before we wrap up, should you touch a bird with your hands?
My recommendation is no. My recommendation is always no. Because as small as I said, his talents are, if, and it's not a matter of if, they will attack you, they don't know that you're coming to help them. You're a big predator.
Yeah.
So they will try to defend themselves, and in the case of one of these birds of prey, they will hook their talons into your hand. And that's never a good feeling. Never.
But what we do recommend, I know you probably asked that question from the perspective, not of safety. She spoke about it in terms of safety for you. But if you touch a bird, birds can't smell. Okay? 90% of birds have no sense of smell. So that's not going to be an issue. I can't put it back, I touched it. No, you can. The mother doesn't care about that. Once that baby bird goes chip, chip, she is there. And sometimes days later. In the case of a raptor, birds of prey, they can be reunited with their actual biological parents or other birds that are suitable parents for up to 6 months.
Really?
Yeah. So that's parenting for you.
That is parenting.
They will take, we've had other birds. We had a woodpecker that we raised. It came from south. We are in Central. And we brought it to Central and we were raising it, feeding it and so on there. Put it outside to get its sun and trying to get it acclimated for release. And a pair of wild woodpeckers came there and visited the cage every day and fed it through the cage till eventually we opened the door and he took off with them. They took care of him.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. That's a storybook.
Yeah, it's just amazing what animals do.
And a good script for a movie. Guys, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Monster, it's been nice to meet you. Those eyes are peering at you. Absolutely beautiful. But I'm still going to stay awake, given all the stories we've heard of you this morning. Celicia, it's been a pleasure meeting you. Good luck with all the poop that you have to clean and all the feeding.
Yeah, we can't have him come on his set.
And is that just with Ricardo?
Give him his entire virtual video.
There we go.
I'm hearing you.
Right, so
I'm
you're
hearing you.
You're gonna monster.
Yeah. You just give me a wink.
You got the click.
Yeah,
what was that?
You're like, I'm going to kill you. That
is the warning. They click.
Yeah, he's like, we should have called him the equalizer. He's going to be like,
you celebrate by me that gave me a click, and he's like, I'm going to kill you.
9 seconds.
Really? All right, guys. Anyway, Celicia, a pleasure meeting you.
It was.
I hope to see you again very soon. Ricardo, always a pleasure, man.
Always great to come on here and have the opportunity to teach people about our wonderful wildlife on Wildlife Wednesday.
Don't give me that click again, man. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Monster and I bid you a great day ahead, and we'll see you, well, I'll see you at least tomorrow morning again for EM Prime. But until then, Monster, give them a click. Oh, no, I think we're going to have to go now. Bye.
Get him.
WESN.
I am Rondell Donowa, and you are watching WESN, the content capital.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this, screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
People really want to know, what about me? Where do I fit? Yes. What is in the ride for me in terms of a better Trinidad and Tobago? And I'm pleased to shed some light on that.
The purpose of bail is to ensure your attendance at court. That's it. It is not punitive, it is not rehabilitative.
We the police officers, we are professional and we are here for whenever the survivor is ready to come forward.
We have the right to private and family life, the right to religious freedoms and beliefs and thoughts and expression. But these rights are not absolute. Certain rights can be limited.
The law is to govern the whole, it's for all of us in public.
Join me, Sule A. Joseph, as I delve into the day-to-day psychological issues plaguing our society. We will discuss behaviors that encompass the biological influences, social pressures, and environmental factors that affect how you think, act, and feel. Sight, Thursdays at 11:30 a.m., only on WESN, Content Capital.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.